Courtois to Lammens. The Madrid message that reveals United's goalkeeper problem. Welcome to Unite United News, where we dig deeper than the headlines to find the real stories affecting Manchester United. When the football world starts buzzing about conversations between players, when rumors link United stars with other clubs, when questions arise about our squad's future, we are here to make sense of it all. Today, we have a story that sounds almost too wild to believe. A story about Senne Lammens, the goalkeeper who just made his United debut days ago, already being linked with Real Madrid. A story about private messages between Belgian teammates that reveal something important about how United are viewed by the football world. This is about ambition, about loyalty, and about whether Manchester United can hold on to their best players. Let me take you through what is really happening here. The wild claims that started everything. Let me lay out exactly what has been reported, because the details matter here and you need to understand where this story is coming from. According to Defensa Central, a Spanish outlet that covers Real Madrid, Senne Lammens has been speaking privately to Thibaut Courtois during Belgium national team duty. Both goalkeepers are part of the Belgium squad for upcoming World Cup qualifiers against North Macedonia and Wales. The report claims that Lammens has been asking Courtois about life in the Spanish capital. He has been curious about how Real Madrid operates as a club. And Courtois, apparently impressed by Lammens' debut performance for United, responded with a joking message. According to the report, Courtois told Lammens, "When I leave in a few years, I will leave you my locker at Madrid." That is the 15-word message that has everyone talking. A joke between teammates that suggests Lammens could one day play for Real Madrid. A casual comment that Spanish media have turned into a potential transfer story. But before we dive into what this all means, let me give you some important context about where this story is coming from and why you should be skeptical. Understanding Spanish media and Real Madrid. Here is something every football fan needs to understand. Spanish media, particularly outlets that focus on Real Madrid and Barcelona, operate differently from British media. They have a tendency to link every good player in world football with their clubs. They write stories suggesting that everyone dreams of playing for Madrid or Barcelona. They turn casual conversations into transfer sagas. They make mountains out of molehills. Defensa Central is a Madrid-focused outlet. Their job is to generate interest among Madrid fans. Stories about potential future signings do exactly that, even if those stories are based on very little actual substance. So when you read that Lammens is asking about Real Madrid and Courtois is joking about leaving him his locker, you need to take it with a huge grain of salt. This could be based on real conversations. Or it could be wild speculation based on the simple fact that two Belgian goalkeepers are in the same squad together. The report itself admits that Real Madrid are not considering Lammens as a potential successor to Courtois. They have not scouted him seriously. They are not planning any move for him. This is not a transfer story. This is a story about a casual conversation that Spanish media have blown out of proportion. Having said that, there are still some interesting angles to this story that are worth exploring. Even if the Madrid link is nonsense, the underlying themes tell us something important about Manchester United's situation. Why Lammens would ask about Real Madrid. Let me be fair to the story for a moment and consider why Senne Lammens might genuinely be asking Courtois about Real Madrid. Lammens is 23 years old. He has just made his Premier League debut. He is in the Belgium national team squad alongside established internationals like Courtois. Of course, he is going to be curious about what it is like at one of the biggest clubs in world football. This is not necessarily about Lammens angling for a move to Madrid. This is about a young player being curious about the career of a more experienced teammate. It is natural. It is normal. Most young players in national team setups ask questions of the veterans. Courtois has had an incredible career. He won the Premier League with Chelsea. He has won multiple La Liga titles and Champions Leagues with Real Madrid. He is considered one of the best goalkeepers of his generation. Any young goalkeeper would want to pick his brain. So if Lammens did ask about Madrid, it probably was not, "How can I engineer a move there?" It was more likely, "What is it like playing at that level? How do you handle the pressure? What is the training like?" These are the kinds of questions young professionals ask experienced ones. Spanish media have taken these innocent inquiries and turned them into a transfer story. That is what they do. What Courtois' message really means. Now let me analyze what Courtois supposedly said to Lammens. When I leave in a few years, I will leave you my locker at Madrid. First, notice that this is described as a joke. Courtois was not making a serious prediction about Lammens' future. He was having a bit of fun with a young teammate, probably after complimenting him on his debut performance. Second, the message is conditional on Courtois leaving Madrid in a few years. Courtois is 33 years old. He probably has 3 or 4 more years at the top level. By the time he retires or moves on, Lammens will be 26 or 27. A lot can happen in that time. Third, this kind of comment is something experienced players say to younger ones all the time. It is encouragement. It is a compliment. It is saying you have talent. Keep working hard. Who knows where your career might take you? I played football at amateur level, and I heard similar comments from older players. They were not making predictions or promises. They were just being supportive and friendly. So what does Courtois' message really mean? Probably nothing more than, well done on your debut. You looked good. Keep it up. Spanish media have taken those sentiments and turned them into a story about Lammens potentially joining Real Madrid one day. The real issue this story exposes. But here is where things get interesting. Even though the Madrid link is probably nonsense, this story exposes a real problem at Manchester United. Why are we even discussing the possibility of a goalkeeper who just made his debut already thinking about leaving? Why does it seem plausible that United might not be able to hold onto a player they just signed? The answer is uncomfortable but true. Manchester United are not the destination club they used to be. Players do not join United and think, this is it. This is where I will build my legacy. They join United and think, this is a good step. Let me see where it goes. The best clubs in the world right now are Real Madrid, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, maybe Liverpool and Arsenal. These are the clubs challenging for Champions Leagues. These are the clubs with clear identities and winning cultures. Manchester United are not in that category right now. They are in the next tier down. Still a massive club. Still capable of attracting good players. But not the ultimate destination for elite talent. This is why stories like the Lammens Madrid link can gain traction. Because it seems believable that even a player who just joined United might already be thinking about his next move. That is how far United's reputation has fallen. What Team Talk sources are saying. Now let me address the other part of this story that is actually concerning. Buried in the report is a crucial detail from Team Talk's transfer insider, Dean Jones. Sources have told Jones that Lammens is not the guaranteed first-choice goalkeeper for the long run at Manchester United. The club are keen on signing another goalkeeper for that role, either in January 2026 or next summer. This is significant information. This suggests that United view Lammens as a stopgap solution, not the long-term answer in goal. Think about what this means. United signed Lammens on deadline day. They gave him his debut. He kept a clean sheet and played well. Fans are excited about him. And yet, behind the scenes, the club are already planning to sign someone else. This creates several problems. First, it undermines Lammens before he has really had a chance to prove himself. How is a young goalkeeper supposed to develop confidence and consistency if he knows the club are actively looking for his replacement? Second, it suggests United made a panic signing without a clear plan. They needed a goalkeeper after loaning out Onana. They grabbed Lammens because he was available. But they never really believed he was the answer. Third, it means United are likely to spend more money on goalkeepers in the near future. After spending on Lammens, after the Onana transfer, after years of goalkeeper issues, they still have not solved the position. This is classic Manchester United dysfunction. Poor planning, reactive decisions, lack of clear strategy. It is frustrating to watch as a fan. Understanding Lammens' position. Let me spare a thought for Senne Lammens in all this. The young man is in a difficult position through no fault of his own. He just made his Manchester United debut. He performed well. He kept a clean sheet. Fans sang his name. It should be the start of a beautiful story. But instead, he is already being linked with other clubs. Reports suggest his own club do not see him as the long-term answer. He is being undermined before he has even established himself. How is Lammens supposed to feel about all this? On one hand, it must be flattering that Courtois rates him and that big clubs might be interested in his future. On the other hand, it must be unsettling to know that United are already looking for alternatives. Lammens needs time to settle, to make mistakes, to learn, to develop. He needs to feel supported by his club. He needs to know that he will get a fair chance to prove himself. But in the modern football media environment, young players rarely get that luxury. One good performance and suddenly you are being linked with Real Madrid. One bad performance and you are being written off as not good enough. This is the reality Lammens faces. And it is not easy for a 23-year-old who just stepped up from the Belgian League to the Premier League. What this says about United's goalkeeper strategy. Let me step back and look at the bigger picture of Manchester United's goalkeeper situation, because this Lammens story is just the latest chapter in a long saga of poor planning. Since David De Gea left, United have not had a settled goalkeeper situation. They signed Andre Onana, who had a mixed first season. They kept Altay Bayındır, who proved not good enough. They signed Lammens on deadline day. They loaned out Onana. None of this suggests a coherent strategy. None of this looks like a club that knows what it wants from its goalkeeper and has a clear plan to get it. Compare this to how top clubs handle the goalkeeper position. Manchester City identified Ederson and stuck with him. Liverpool signed Alisson and built their defense around him. Arsenal brought in David Raya and backed him even when he struggled initially. These clubs have patience. They have conviction. They identify their man and give him time to succeed. Manchester United, by contrast, seem to be constantly changing their mind. They are reactive rather than proactive. They make short-term decisions without thinking about long-term consequences. The fact that sources are saying United want to sign another goalkeeper soon, despite just bringing in Lammens, proves this point. There is no strategy. There is no patience. There is just constant churn and hoping something eventually works. The Courtois praise. Let me note one positive aspect of this story. Thibaut Courtois posted 2 applause emojis on Manchester United's Instagram post celebrating Lammens' debut. This is a nice gesture from one of the best goalkeepers in world football. Courtois recognizing Lammens' performance and publicly showing support is classy. It also suggests that Courtois genuinely does rate Lammens as a goalkeeper. You do not publicly praise players you think are mediocre. Courtois saw something in Lammens' debut performance that impressed him. This should be encouraging for Manchester United fans. If a goalkeeper of Courtois' caliber thinks Lammens looked good, then maybe United do have something special on their hands. The question is whether United will give Lammens the time and support he needs to develop into that special player, or whether they will panic and sign someone else at the first sign of trouble. Why Real Madrid are not actually interested. Let me be very clear about one thing. Real Madrid are not going to sign Senne Lammens anytime soon. This is not happening. The report itself admits that Madrid are not considering him as a successor to Courtois. They have other options. They have Andre Lunin, who has impressed when given chances. They will probably look at more established options when Courtois eventually moves on or retires. Lammens has played 1 match in the Premier League. 1 match against championship opposition. Real Madrid do not sign goalkeepers based on 1 decent performance against Sunderland. Madrid sign established stars or young players who have proven themselves over multiple seasons at high levels. Lammens, talented as he may be, does not fit either category yet. Could Lammens one day play for Real Madrid? Sure, if he has an incredible career trajectory over the next few years. But that applies to lots of young goalkeepers. It does not mean Madrid are actively planning for it. This is a non-story in terms of an actual transfer. But as I said earlier, the themes it touches on are interesting for what they reveal about Manchester United's situation. The national team dynamic. Let me talk about the Belgium national team context because it matters for understanding this story. Belgium have an aging squad but still have quality players. Courtois is the established number 1 goalkeeper. Behind him, they have several younger goalkeepers trying to establish themselves as future options. Lammens getting called up to the Belgium squad is an achievement for him. It shows he is highly rated by the national team coaches. Puts him in an environment where he can learn from experienced internationals like Courtois. These national team camps are where young players network, ask questions, and learn from veterans. Conversations happen. Advice is shared. Connections are made. So yes, Lammens probably did talk to Courtois during Belgium duty. And yes, Courtois probably gave him encouragement and advice. This is normal and healthy. The problem is when media outlets take these normal interactions and turn them into transfer stories. That is what has happened here. What Lammens should actually be thinking about. Let me tell you what Senne Lammens should actually be focused on right now, because it is not Real Madrid. First, establishing himself as Manchester United's first-choice goalkeeper. He has made one good start. He needs to build on that. He needs to maintain his form over multiple matches. He needs to prove he can handle different types of opponents and situations. Second, developing his game. Lammens is 23. He is still young for a goalkeeper. He has areas where he can improve. He should be working every day to become a more complete goalkeeper. Third, winning trophies with Manchester United. If Lammens wants to play for clubs like Real Madrid one day, he needs to win things. He needs to be part of successful teams. He needs to establish himself as a winner. Fourth, earning more Belgium caps. Breaking into the national team properly would be a huge achievement. It would raise his profile and prove his quality. Fifth, enjoying the opportunity he has. Playing for Manchester United is a dream for most footballers. Lammens should be savoring every moment, not thinking about his next move. If Lammens focuses on these things, if he performs consistently well for United, then opportunities at bigger clubs might naturally come later in his career. But right now, he should be 100% focused on succeeding at Manchester United. The danger of too much too soon. Here is a concern I have about stories like this. They can damage young players by creating unrealistic expectations and distractions. Lammens has played one good match. And already he is being linked with Real Madrid. Already there are suggestions he might be thinking about his next move. Already there is hype building around him. This is dangerous for a 23-year-old who has just made his Premier League debut. The hype can go to your head. You can start believing you have made it before you actually have. You can lose focus on the hard work needed to sustain success. Or alternatively, the pressure of the hype can crush you. You start overthinking. You become afraid to make mistakes. You lose the natural confidence that made you good in the first place. Either way, this kind of premature attention rarely helps young players. They need to be protected from it. They need time to develop away from the spotlight. Manchester United, as a club, should be shielding Lammens from this noise. They should be keeping his feet on the ground while building his confidence. They should be creating an environment where he can develop without excessive pressure. Whether they actually do that remains to be seen. What United fans should think about this. So what should Manchester United fans make of all this? How should we react to stories linking Lammens with Real Madrid and suggestions that United want to sign another goalkeeper? First, do not worry about the Madrid link. It is almost certainly nonsense. Lammens is not leaving United for Real Madrid anytime soon. This is Spanish media creating a story out of nothing. Second, do worry about the reports that United see Lammens as a stopgap. This suggests poor planning and lack of commitment to the players you sign. It is the kind of muddled thinking that has held United back for years. Third, support Lammens. The young man has done nothing wrong. He performed well on his debut. He deserves our backing as he continues to develop. Fourth, demand better planning from United's hierarchy. The constant goalkeeper carousel needs to stop. The club needs to identify who they want long-term and commit to that choice. Fifth, be patient. Goalkeepers take time to develop. Lammens will make mistakes. He will have difficult matches. That is normal. Judge him over a season, not over 1 or 2 games. The Lammens situation is a microcosm of Manchester United's broader problems. Reactive decision-making, lack of clear strategy, players being undermined before they have a chance to succeed. These are the issues the club needs to fix if they want to return to the top. The irony of the timing. Let me point out the irony of this story's timing. Senne Lammens kept Manchester United's first clean sheet of the season just days ago. He had a solid debut. Fans were finally feeling positive about the goalkeeper situation. And immediately, stories emerged suggesting he might not be United's long-term answer and might already be thinking about other clubs. This is classic modern football media. No moment of positivity can just be enjoyed. It has to be immediately complicated by transfer rumors and suggestions that things are not as good as they seem. For once, could Manchester United fans not just enjoy a young player having a good debut without immediately being told he is not good enough or might leave? Is that too much to ask? Apparently it is. This is the world we live in now. Everything is content. Every small story gets blown up into a major narrative. Nothing can just be simple and straightforward. What happens next? So what actually happens next in the Senne Lammens story? Most likely, nothing dramatic. Lammens will continue as United's first-choice goalkeeper. He will have good matches and probably some difficult ones. The Real Madrid links will fade away because they were never real in the first place. United might genuinely look for another goalkeeper in the summer, depending on how Lammens performs over the rest of the season. But that decision will be based on his performances, not on Spanish media rumors. Courtois will continue to be supportive of his young Belgian teammate. Their relationship will remain positive, but it will not lead to Lammens moving to Madrid. The story will be forgotten in a few days when the next transfer rumor or controversy emerges. This is how the modern football news cycle works. The only question that really matters is whether Lammens can maintain his form and establish himself as Manchester United's goalkeeper. Everything else is just noise. Final thoughts. The story about Courtois' message to Lammens and the Real Madrid links is mostly nonsense. It is Spanish media doing what they do best, creating transfer stories out of thin air. But the underlying themes are important. They reveal Manchester United's reputation problems. They highlight poor planning in the goalkeeper position. They show how young players get hyped and undermined simultaneously. Senne Lammens deserves better than to be the subject of wild speculation just days after his debut. He deserves time to develop. He deserves support from his club. He deserves to be judged on his performances, not on media-created narratives. Manchester United, as a club, need to do better at protecting their young players and having clear strategies for key positions. The goalkeeper situation has been a mess for too long. As for the suggestion that Lammens might one day play for Real Madrid, who knows? If he has a brilliant career, anything is possible. But right now, he should be focused on one thing: establishing himself as Manchester United's #1 goalkeeper. Everything else is just noise created by media outlets looking for content. Do not let it distract from what actually matters: performances on the pitch. Stay informed with Unite United News. Thank you for reading this analysis here at Unite United News. We know it is frustrating when wild stories emerge about United players just days after positive performances. Our job is to cut through the noise and help you understand what is really happening. The Courtois Lammens story is mostly media-created nonsense, but it touches on real issues about United's planning and reputation. We will continue bringing you honest, thoughtful analysis of everything affecting Manchester United. We will not chase every rumor. We will not hype every story. We will give you the truth, even when it is complicated. Keep coming back to Unite United News for the analysis that goes deeper than the headlines. We are here for you, helping you make sense of the madness that is modern football media. Stay grounded, stay supportive of our players, and remember that most transfer rumors are exactly that: rumors with no substance. Judge Senne Lammens on his performances, not on Spanish media speculation about his future. Glory, glory, Man United. We are all in this together.